Hi everyone, I'm Teacher Luke, an expert Duolingo English Test teacher, and today's video is all about the Duolingo Test subscores. Most other tests, like the IELTS or TOEFL exam, divide your scores based on the 4 skills: speaking, writing, reading, and listening. However, the Duolingo test does it a bit differently, and actually, in my opinion, as a teacher, they do a much better job at dividing your scores. And these are called the subscores. And knowing about the subscores will help you to better understand the Duolingo English test. So that's what we're going to do today. But before I start, if you think this type of video is useful, please give it a thumbs up and write yes below in the comments. Okay, then let's take a look at what these subscores are. You can find all of this information on the Duolingo test website. So there are 4 different subscores. Literacy tests your reading and writing skills. Comprehension tests your reading and listening skills. Conversation tests your listening and speaking skills. And production tests your writing and speaking skills. In my opinion, as an English language teacher with over 10 years of teaching experience, dividing the 4 skills, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, into these subscores is a much better indicator of someone's overall English proficiency, rather than separating the skills like a lot of other tests do, where they give you a listening test, a reading test, a writing test, and a speaking test. Because in real life, when you are, for example, having a conversation, you're not just speaking, are you? You're speaking and listening. So this is one area which I believe the Duolingo English test is doing a really good job at. But what question types contribute to each subscore? Let's take a look at that now. So here are all the different question types. I'll go through each of them individually, showing you what they look like on the test in a minute. Each question type contributes towards 2 subscores. And if you look at this chart, it shows you the frequency of each question type. All of this information can be found on the Duolingo English Test website. There is a link below in the description. So the production subscore is broken up into 2 sections: the writing questions and the speaking questions. Some of these speaking questions are not on the practice test, so this might be the first time you've seen some of these questions, so I hope this helps you study better. Okay, let's start with writing. For the writing, there are 2 different question types. We have the respond to a question in at least 50 words. For this, you have 5 minutes, and you will only get this question type once in the whole test. The next writing question on the production subscore is the describe an image question type. You only have 1 minute to do this, which is incredibly short, and you will get this 3 times on the test. So let's take a look at the speaking questions now. The first one is to read about a topic and then speak. You have 90 seconds to do this, and you'll have this twice on the test. Next up, we have listen to the question and speak. So you have to listen to the prompt, understand the prompt, and then answer the question through speaking. This one, in my opinion, is a lot harder than reading and speaking. Again, you only have 90 seconds to do this, but luckily you only have this once on the test. And third, you have the describe a picture through speaking. For this, you have 90 seconds, and again, you only have it once on the test. So those were the different question types that contribute towards your production subscore. The listen about a topic and then speak and the describe a picture through speaking are not on the practice test, but they are on the real test, and you need to know that. Unlike the other subscores, assessing your production can be a little bit subjective. There's not always a right and wrong answer. So how are you assessed? Well, thankfully, the Duolingo team have shared with us their criteria, so let's take a look at that now. So for the speaking and writing tasks, this is what you're being judged on. There are 7 main points: grammatical accuracy, lexical sophistication, lexical diversity, task relevance, length, fluency, and acoustic features. Acoustic features means pronunciation. So this criteria is a bit complicated, but I have made a video discussing this in a lot of detail. You can click this card here or find the link below in the description. Watch that video if you're having a hard time with the production subscore. Now let's take a look at the literacy question types. There are only 3 question types that contribute towards your literacy subscore. They are the C-test. The C-test is the read and fill in the gaps question type. Then you have the select the real English words through reading, not through listening, just through reading. In addition to those two, all of the write-in tasks contribute towards your literacy subscore. Literacy is your ability to read and write, so it makes sense that these question types contribute towards that subscore. I have made practice videos for these types of questions as well. Check out my YouTube page and you can find all of these different videos to help you. Okay, moving on to conversation. So there are 4 different question types that contribute towards your conversation subscore. Firstly, we have all of the different speaking questions. Of course, conversation involves speaking, so it makes sense that these question types are in the conversation. Then we have the elicited speech, also known as the read-aloud question type. Here you're given a sentence which you have to read within 20 seconds. You'll get this question type anywhere between 3 and 7 times in the test, like a lot of the others. Then moving on, you have select the real words through listening. For this question type, you have 90 seconds and you have to listen to all of these words and just choose which ones are real words. It sounds easy, but actually it is quite difficult. Then moving on, you have the dictation question type, where you have to listen and type out exactly what you hear. Remember, for the read aloud, the yes-no vocabulary through listening, and the dictation question types, you will get these anywhere between 3 and 7 times in the test, on average 6 times. So definitely take the time to practice doing these question types. Also, again, I have made videos on all of these different ones. You can find them on my YouTube page. Okay, lastly, let's take a look at the comprehension subscore. Remember, comprehension tests your ability to read and listen. So these questions will, of course, be based around reading and listening. The first up is the C test. This question type contributes to the comprehension and also the literacy. Then we have the dictation question type, of course, that tests your listening skills. Then your ability to read a sentence out loud. And lastly, both of the yes-no vocabulary question types, the one where you have to select the words through listening and the other through listening, both of these contribute towards your comprehension subscore. So those are the 4 subscores and the different question types that contribute towards them. After you finish the test, your mark sheet will look like this. As you can see here, each subscore gets its own individual points, and all of those points contribute towards your total score. But since this is an adaptive test, it's not simply an average of your subscores equals your total score. It's a bit more complicated than that. So I hope this video helped you to understand what skills each subscore is assessing, and also which question types contribute to which subscore. All of this information is really helpful to know to help you study more efficiently for this test. If you have any questions about these subscores, please let me know down below in the comments. Also, join my Facebook group. You can write your questions in the Facebook group and I will respond, and also other test takers can help you out too. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much and I'll see you soon. Take care.